understand what it's about.
Every time I touch the ball, I'm thinking I'm going to score.
This is our chance to write our part of the story.
The wheels, ball, goes, touchdowns!
Like he looks like he wants to take someone's head off.
Oh, picked up into the mix. Dante McClellan.
Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome inside the Tiger Kickoff Show. Different look today. We're over Zoom as we are so excited to bring you Missouri football that even on break, we couldn't stop talking about it. We got Zach Sweet, Quentin Corpuel, Chase Jeems, the Missourian crew as we get ready to break down OU and the upcoming matchup against Arkansas. So we are taking a little bit of break. Two shows meshed together in one. But we're across the country doing this show. Quentin, where are we right now?
We, as in I, am in Maryland with my family. Excited to be home for a little bit. This will hopefully be a refreshing few days in the great state of MD. And then we're going to go visit family in New York for Thanksgiving. So really excited for that.
Yeah, pretty similar boat over here. I'm back in Chicago, but on Thanksgiving I will be in the great city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, seeing some extended family. So I'm pretty excited for that. Should be good. Eat some turkey. Unlike Dan Hurley, we celebrate on Thursday like normal people. So that's the plan. We're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Well, y'all left me in Columbia. I'm still here for some reason. I'm staying for the press conference, and then I'll go home. And I also celebrate on a Thursday, so I agree. That's the right day to do it. I'm looking forward to some good food, hopefully.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a question. Chase, you could have just done the show solo from the studio.
That would be something.
It would have been great. But I'm here in Chicago as well. I got the proper Chicago teams behind me, unlike Zachary Sweet. But I'll make you happy, Zach. I am going up to Milwaukee, and going up to Wisconsin today, actually. Today, which is
you can't stay away. This is your
Tuesday.
second
No,
time
I
there in the
cannot,
last 2 weeks.
Stay away. I cannot stay away. It's been a traveling weekend for all of us as we all came back from Oklahoma. What are our initial reactions of that game, which the Tigers ended up falling 17-6?
Yeah, that was a microcosm of Mizzou's season. The defense did really all they could to keep Mizzou in that game. I thought they played extremely well. The only two touchdowns they gave up were one big mistake on the 87-yard catch and run by Isaiah Satania III, and the other touchdown they gave up came on a short field after a poor punt from Connor Wesselman. Special teams, not good again. I would say this was probably their worst game of the season in terms of mistakes they made. And then the offense did have its moments. We'll talk about Bo Prabula in a bit. I thought he played okay. The run game got shut down. They were forced into third and long after that first drive pretty often, and they just couldn't capitalize once they did make it into scoring territory.
Yeah, you touched on it, but it's a real shame that effort from the defense is going to get overshadowed because the defense was phenomenal. They kept them in the game. They made play after play. Oklahoma's last 6 possessions of the game resulted in punts. Nobody scored in the last 26 plus minutes of this game. So Missouri's defense gave them every chance in the world. There were 16 total punts in this game, which is just an insane amount of punts. It was just a remarkable effort from the defense, and it really is a shame. We'll talk about the offense. They got going late, but they couldn't sustain these drives. They couldn't capitalize when they were in the red zone. Couple questionable decisions that we'll talk about, coaching decisions, but overall, I think the defense is going to get overshadowed in what was a remarkable effort.
Yeah, once again, like it has all season, the defense performed and held Oklahoma to just 17 points. And Oklahoma's offense did not look very good at all during the game. And to waste that performance with the offense struggling the way it did, you had the first drive where the offense looked fine, and then for pretty much the rest of the game, it just stalled out every single time. And when the run game got stuffed, the passing game couldn't really do much to put a dent in Oklahoma. Drinkwitz after the game said zero rhythm, zero creativity. That was the perfect way to describe it, I think. So you look forward and that offense just has to be better, period.
Yeah, we'll touch on play calling and Drinkwitz's comments on the offensive rhythm in just a minute. But the Tigers had a chance to win in Norman since man landed on the moon, post-it notes and ATMs were a thing. Let's go check the highlights from this game and a quick recap.
Mizzou looking to end a 59-year win drought out in Norman. Bo Pribula making the start for the Tigers. How's that ankle, Bo? We'll see. Looking good. Pribula on the move, picks up the first down for the Tigers. That drive ends in a Robbie Meyer field goal. It's good from 39 yards out. The Tigers lead 3-0 after the first quarter. We go into the second. Missouri looks to add on. Robbie Meyer's kick blocked. No points for the Tigers on the drive. They got there on a PI call. To make matters worse, Isaiah Stenga, the third, takes a slant 87 yards. Complete defensive breakdown to the house. 7-3, Oklahoma leads. And the Tigers, they're just playing catch up in half two. Bo gets picked off by Jacoby Johnson. Goes deep into double coverage. Mizzou still down 17-6. And then we go to the fourth quarter. Fourth down, Missouri, to make it a one-score game. Kevin Coleman in the end zone, dropped. And the Tigers fall 17-6.
Yeah, I mean, we just had zero rhythm, we had zero rhythm, zero creativity. We were run, pass, or, it just didn't work in the second half.
So you heard Coach Drinkwitz's frustration with the offense all night long. Is he putting kind of that frustration with the offense, that inability to score and sustain drives, is he putting that on the offensive play calling, Quentin?
I mean, yeah, Kirby Moore's the one calling the plays, and this is now multiple times this season where, especially in the red zone, near the opponent's goal line, where the opponent is snuffing out whatever Mizzou is trying to do. And that happens actually quite frequently against Oklahoma. I really liked, it's so funny, I really, really liked that first drive. Mizzou has been really good on first drives this season. They were balancing the run and pass pretty well. They were succeeding on early downs with the run, which made third downs really, really manageable. And they stayed ahead of schedule. And I was thinking to myself, what if they could do this for the rest of the game? And they couldn't. And third and manageable turned into third and long a lot. It's really hard to be creative when you're facing third and 15. But even in the third and manageables, Mizzou wasn't executing nearly as well as it was early on in the game. And so, yeah, I think a good bit of blame is to go to the play calling.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to call a game when your average third down yardage to gain is 8.5 yards. That just shows you're behind the sticks far too often. And that was the case. Like Quentin talked about, on that first drive, Missouri was doing a really good job on first down of picking up a couple of yards, making the third downs more manageable. Whereas later in the game, Missouri couldn't get any push on first down. Hardy ran 17 times for 57 yards. They weren't getting that yardage on first down. They were behind the chains, and they were having to play makeup. And that's just not a recipe for success, especially against a defensive front with the caliber that Oklahoma has, because they have some players on that defensive front, and you can't afford to be facing third and longs as often as Mizzou did. And then when they got down in the red zone, far too many times the drive just stalled out, and they were forced to either settle for field goal attempts or field goals, or they ended up not failing to convert on fourth downs, and too many drives stalled out.
Yeah, and I've been hesitant to put the entire blame on things with the offensive play calling, and I wouldn't for this game either, because I think at times player execution just wasn't good enough. But at the same time, I think this is probably the worst play called game of the entire season. Like it was just so the lack of creativity was on display, and there just wasn't. You had that first drive, and then you had the one with Coleman getting a couple of those big yardage gains. Besides that, there's just nothing to take away from. And with the run not getting any momentum, and then the passing game just not really making the right play designs. And Bo, we'll talk about Bo more. I mean, I think he was fine, but at times, again, just not really putting him in the right position like they have in the past. So I think It's a kind of a mix of a lot of things on offense, but I do think the play calling, Drinkwitz is right to comment on that after the game. I think it was a big part of this loss.
Really quickly, Quentin, how do you interpret Drinkwitz's comments?
I interpret them as him saying it how it is, not trying to spin it in any one direction. But again, this is a multi-time occurrence, and I think he was just being honest.
Awesome. One thing that for sure was honest was that this Oklahoma run defense was stout. And you all mentioned the early success Ahmad Hardy had in the run game. He had nothing from there. 17 carries, was held under 100 yards after tallying 300 yards just a week before. Here is Ahmad Hardy on being neutralized.
I just executed better than us. We didn't execute. They were setting the line of scrimmage. We supposed to came out swinging, setting the line of scrimmage. So they set the tone on first and second down, made us get in third and long. So that's what they did.
Ahmad Hardy in this Missouri Tiger run game has been the lifeblood of the offense. When the Tigers have found success, they were stifled again by Oklahoma. Quinn, what do you take away from the run game?
They really struggle against good run defenses. A lot of their, if not all of their best rushing performances have come against poor rushing defenses, which is expected, but really good rushing offenses, the best rushing offenses in the country, are able to succeed at least a little bit against really good rushing defenses, and that just hasn't happened this season. I think back to that game against Auburn, where Ahmad Hardy had only 58 rushing yards on 24 carries. Auburn was really good at shooting gaps and stuffing Hardy on the outside zone, which has been Mizzou's bread and butter since Kirby Moore became the offensive play caller before the 2023 season. It was snuffed out again a lot against Oklahoma. Again, they are one of the best run defenses in the country. There's no shame in struggling against that caliber of a run defense, but at some point you would like to sustain success beyond that first drive, and that's not what happened on Saturday.
And I think outside of Hardy too, Hardy finished with 17 carries for 57 yards. I think Jamal Roberts also had 10 carries for just like 14 yards or something very modest. And that's a testament to how good Oklahoma's run defense really is. We talked about it in the preview. Oklahoma's run defense had allowed just one 100-yard rusher all year, and it was thanks to his 75-yard touchdown from Justice Hayes. But Oklahoma's defense was just so good at winning the line of scrimmage, and Missouri's offensive line was unable to create any space for Hardy to run. He had 52 yards after contact again on 57 total yards, which is another testament to Hardy. But there's really only so much he was able to do, and there's just no explosive plays. He couldn't break free. And Missouri's run game again stalled out against a really good run defense. Quentin hit the nail on the head there.
Yep, you guys both hit it. I mean, the run game has been what Missouri's offense revolves around for the entire season. And, ideally, yes, when you use Hardy, it's going to result in production. But with this defense, the Auburn defense, he's been very limited. And it's not just on him, it's the O-line too. But, you got to be able to put more points up. Oklahoma is just an elite run defense. But, it's kind of indicative when the offense can't get any of the run going. And then when it can't beat you in the passing game, then that's just a mix of, well, you're just not going to win, period. So, you wanted the run game to be better in this game, but as a whole, the offense just had nothing to show.
You mentioned the passing game, Chase. Tigers got back. Bo Pribula missed only 2 games after the injury against Vanderbilt. He said it was a blessing to be back.
I'm just so blessed. To have a dislocated ankle 4 weeks ago and to be able to play the game that I love, I'm just so blessed to be able to go out there and compete today. Really wanted this one, but I feel bad for all the seniors and everything. I wish we could have got it done, but overall I'm just blessed and just thankful to God for the opportunity to come back as soon as I did.
So Bo returns in the game for the Tigers, but the Tigers could not find much success in that passing game. Quinn, how do you evaluate Bo's performance in his first game back from a dislocated ankle?
Yeah, I thought the fact that he even played and looked pretty healthy, if not fully healthy, was incredible, considering how bad his injury looked against Vanderbilt. And I thought this was the most aggressive he had been with pushing the ball down the field. And he was rewarded a handful of times. He was able to make some nice connections with Josh Manning and Kevin Coleman. I thought he got into a nice rhythm on that first drive when I think he completed his first 4 passes, and they were all screens or short throws pretty close to the line of scrimmage. It's what I wish Mizzou did when Matt Zollers started against Texas A&M. Instead of just chucking deep balls down the sideline and making him make plays deep down the field with his arm, just get him going with some layups. Screen passes, hitches, slants, just short, easy routes, and that's what Bo was able to do on the first drive, and I thought that got him into a good kind of rhythm. But again, once those 3rd and longs started hitting Mizzou, that's where you saw a lot of the struggles. You saw Bo trying desperately to make a play deep over the air, and a lot of times it just didn't work. And so again, I thought he was really aggressive. I thought the fact that he played was even more impressive, but the passing game just wasn't good enough, especially when a lot of pressure was on it.
And Quentin, when you said in your opening that this game was a microcosm of Missouri's season, I think the passing game definitely falls in that same category. If you want to look at Corpuel's numbers on his 42 dropbacks, when the pocket was kept clean, he went 19 of 29 for 220 yards and a 71.4 PFF grade on 31 dropbacks. On the 11 where he faced pressure, it was a 28.1 PFF grade. He went 1 for 7 with 1 yard and an interception. And I think that just tells you the whole story of Missouri's season. And the numbers are the same when you look at the snaps where he was blitzed versus where he wasn't blitzed. When Missouri was able to keep the pocket clean and keep Corpuel with time to make the right decision and take what the defense gave him, he made the right reads. So Corpuel wasn't even at fault, but when he was pressured, I mean, that's when Missouri would get behind the sticks.
Yeah, Zach, I'm pretty sure when we were at the game, you kind of said, like, this is a similar performance from Bo that we've seen kind of all season long. And, I mean, you're right. Like, it's not a whole lot different. And I agree with you guys. I don't think he was terrible, but, you know, the same issues arise. You have those 2 turnovers that, I mean, ultimately, I don't know if the last one really mattered at the end of the day, but still, 2 interceptions is not ideal. And I think, like, I liked how when Quentin was talking about, I think it was good to get him in rhythm at the start of the game, but I felt like that kind of trailed off as the game went along. And, you know, trying to make those big plays, it worked at times with Coleman late in the game, and that should have been a touchdown. Coleman's got to catch that ball. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely catchable.
Come on, that's your guy.
Well, no, that ball's got to be thrown a little bit better, to be honest.
I mean, yes, but
every receiver coach in the nation will tell you if you get 2 hands on the football in the end zone, you can
yeah, like, but if Corpuel would have led his receiver to the back of the end zone,
could the throw have been better? Yes.
Without a doubt, it's caught.
What is the receiver coach going to say, Chase?
Probably that you should catch it. I mean, I think it goes both ways for those guys. Regardless, that was the score that needed to happen there. They needed that badly. And, you know, again, that comes down to some of the execution. It's not always the play calling, it's also execution.
Should he have caught it? Should he have not caught it? Should the Tigers have established the run game better? Could the Tigers' defense has done more? All those questions, Tyson Ellison, our former Tiger, has your answers for in Sideline Study Hall.
Thanks for the intro, Jacob. I went to Oklahoma and got the first ever away video credential for the Tiger Kickoff Show and came back with 0 highlights. Part of that is because of the drop, and to answer that question, if you get 2 hands on the football, you're expected to catch that football. But it's also because of the suffocating defense that Oklahoma played. Take a look at the end of half play on 3rd down and goal. This outside zone, the linebacker sees it from the beginning. They're going to scrape over on this play. And if you're the offensive line, there's nothing that you can do against this defense. All of your blockers are occupied, and the linebacker takes this straight from the drills we do at practice, scrapes over top of the outside run, gets downhill, and forces the running back to the ground. Now, this run was more of an inside zone, but again, the linebacker is step for step with the running back the whole way. Watch 11. Play starts, he's scraping to his left, finds the gap the running back's trying to attack, And that's called spiking the gap. He gets downhill so fast, no blocker can account for him. And it's another tackle for a short gain. Now, Jacob, you asked if the defense could do more. I think absolutely yes, especially if you watched Sideline Study Hall last week. We outlined the exact same explosive play that Satania had on the touchdown earlier in the week. Against Ole Miss, this crossing route happened. John Mateer sees two receivers in the same spot, uses his hand to send Satania, and that ended up being an explosive. Well, now you see another similar crossing route. Marvin Birch just doesn't stay with Satania. Down the field, touchdown. Once he catches the football, you are not going to catch that young man. He's too fast. But as we've come to expect from the Missouri defense, there was a lot more good than bad. Take Damon Wilson on this play. He's going to start as the defensive end to your right as you're looking at it. Ends up as the spy player in the middle of the field, and when John Mateer escapes the pocket with relentless effort, Wilson chases him to the sideline, and that was a sack for -10 yards. But Missouri allowed explosives in all three phases of this football game. On special teams, that first field goal attempt that went in, let's look at the blocking structure. The player that gets a hand on this football is by himself in the backfield with the kicker and the holder. That's because there's not enough width on the edge. That outside blocker doesn't even impede the route that the defender takes to the football, which is why that ball is blocked. So there's a lot to clean up and not a whole lot of time left to do it. 8-4 is on the table against Arkansas, but this offense has to get its feet back underneath it to spring ahead. I think Mizzou finds their footing and gets to 8 wins in the regular season. Jacob, back to you.
Thanks so much, Tyson. As we move over to Arkansas, we're going to leave you with one last look from our trip down in Oklahoma. Okay, Norman, Oklahoma has been a nightmare place for the Tigers to play football, but Arkansas in Fayetteville has not been. The Tigers will travel there to play on Saturday at 2:30. Quinn, our first impressions of the Razorbacks.
I think Mizzou might score 45 points this Saturday. Arkansas is one of the worst defenses, not just at the power conference level, but in the entirety of college football. They've been in a lot of shootouts this year. It's been the inverse of Mizzou in that their offense has had to save their defense's poor efforts a lot of times this season. And so I think the Tiger offense could have a really big day this weekend.
Yeah, this is an Arkansas team that is struggling, to say the least. They've lost 9 straight games. They're 0-7 in conference play. Taylon Green is a really interesting player because I actually like what he offers. He's a really good dual threat quarterback. His ability to run the ball keeps defenses off balance. But as a whole, Arkansas's defense has not been able to keep opponents out of the end zone. We saw Arch Manning just have a field day, and I mean, I would expect Missouri's offense to actually click, like Quentin said. This should be a lot of points in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas's offense is, I mean, I don't know if I would say elite, but I mean, at the same time, like, they've scored a lot of points this season. It's just the defense cannot keep them in games. And, you know, I think with Mizzou's defense, if anyone's going to limit what Arkansas can do offensively, it's going to be the Mizzou defense. It's just about whether the Mizzou offense can put up enough points. But yeah, against this defense, I fully expect them to be able to do that. And it should absolutely be a win on the road to get them to the 8-win mark.
Gordon, is there anything you can see from this game that's going to make you feel really good about the Tigers heading into their bowl game?
I mean, yeah, if their offense looks two-dimensional and they're able to succeed both on the ground and through the air, again, I really think they can. I don't think there's a strength of this Arkansas defense. A lot of teams have had their best, or at the very least, one of their best overall offensive performances of the season against Arkansas. We saw that last week, as Zach mentioned, against Texas, who put up 52 on them. I think Arkansas has allowed at least 30 points in all but 2 or 3 games this season. And so I would expect Mizzou to put up a lot of numbers on offense. And I think as long as both sides of the ball are clicking, that'll be an encouraging sign heading into whatever bowl they end up in.
Yeah, I mean, kind of bouncing off that, I think Ahmad Hardy's going to have a really big day. But I think for Missouri fans, the focus isn't really on the Arkansas game. I don't think anyone cares so much about the result in this Arkansas game as much as people are focused on the ensuing days after the Arkansas game and to see how everything shakes out with Eli Drinkwitz's future with Missouri. Then soon after the transfer portal opening, and it's going to be a busy offseason for Missouri after what we've seen this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for Drinkwitz's future, you would hope they win this game because if not, I think it gets a little eerie. And I agree with you. This game, I mean, it doesn't really matter in itself so much, but it's kind of the implications of it. And if for some reason the offense can't produce against this team or vice versa, I guess, like that's pretty concerning. So
So when you
I
say
think you just
his future is eerie, are you meaning like if the Tigers win,
like,
he's going to
I mean,
stick
I'm
with
not
the win?
saying necessarily this game is gonna totally boost his odds of leaving, but it's like I would say 8-4 versus 7-5 does look a fair amount worse this season. I don't think anyone really would have expected to set, well, some would, but they certainly wouldn't have expected a 7-win season before. So, and I think that would be quite a disappointment to end on.
Well, you know what's not going to be a disappointment? It's going to be that Thanksgiving spread on Thursday. Guys, we're going to talk Thanksgiving right now. We're stepping away from football. Thanksgiving debate time. What's the best Thanksgiving food?
Oxtail, cornbread, collard
Okay,
greens. No, I'm kidding.
That's sort
I
of
don't have any of those things on my Thanksgiving plate. I mean, I really like, I mean, and if we're talking main dish, I like turkey. I eat turkey outside of Thanksgiving. Put some gravy or, I mean, I personally like cranberries.
Ooh, I was
I
gonna
think
say,
that's a really,
what's
I know that's a very
thoughts?
polarizing subject, but I've come around
Cranberry
to
sauce?
cranberries on my
Yeah,
Thanksgiving dishes.
yeah, I can't relate to the cranberries, but I definitely do like turkey. There's nothing better than watching football though on Thursday. I mean, that's what it's about, right? It's Thanksgiving. It's about football. It's about the three football games on TV. Whether you're gonna go play football with your friends or, I mean, Thanksgiving to me, I just think football. I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's how my brain operates, but I'm most excited for the Packers game on Thursday.
You have a food that you like? I know you said turkey, but anything else? Quentin threw out
Yeah.
oxtail.
Yeah, I don't even know what oxtail looks like. I'm not gonna lie, but
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty
Airlander
basic.
food?
I like a good mac and cheese from the family. It's never bad, but yeah, turkey is definitely the chalk answer. And when I'm a big advocate of eating turkey on Thanksgiving, not so much during the year. So I'll definitely indulge.
yeah, I plan to have at least, a few plates Thursday. I'm very excited. My favorite dish is probably sweet potato casserole. I'm a big fan of that. I just like it. You don't have to have the mushroom or the not mushrooms, marshmallows on it. But I don't know if you want just pure sugar, that's the way to go. But I like it. I like pretty much anything. I'm not really too keen on cranberries, unfortunately. But sorry, Quentin. But other than that, I pretty much eat everything.
I'll say I'll eat everything, but the cranberries too. I like the
I need it.
like the cornbread casserole, where it's like the casserole and they got the corn inside. That's classic. I'll eat that every
Yeah.
time. Big on the turkey. I'm with you, Quinn. I eat turkey out of season. I'm a big turkey guy. I contribute to taking the birds, not just this time of year. But also my Uncle Rick makes the best beans and bacon. You also have to realize this is an Italian Thanksgiving we're talking about here. So you'll have your turkey, and then you'll have your lasagna, and then you'll have your fettuccine, and it's just a big giant Italian meal, which is always great. I love it. Yeah. That's all from the Tiger Kickoff Show. Thank you so much again to our wonderful Columbia, Missouri beat reporters for taking their time across the country to come talk Missouri football with us today. And yeah, we'll see you guys in Fayetteville on Saturday after Thanksgiving, after all the Black Friday shopping, when Christmas season begins. That's it for the Tiger Kickoff Show. Thanks for tuning in.